Stick 'em up.
Oh my God. Is this a holdup?
No, it's a Holden. What? That's right. We teased it last week, and now it's here. The Chevy SS / Holden Commodore. This is my newest procurement. The Infinity was just not.
I think I got some fucking sunscreen in my eye, bro.
It fucking hurts. Little baby got a boo-boo.
I did.
Yeah, the Infinity just wasn't cutting it, man. So I got this instead. That's pretty cool. So, of course, this is a 2016. It's got the LS3. But today, I am specially talking to people looking into buying modified cars. You know, what to look for, what you should really be mindful of, I guess, and the things that I was checking.
Wash out my
Also,
eyes.
it's just a
Holy
cool car
shit.
I wanted to show you guys.
It's actually...
So, here we go. So, like I said, this is more about buying a modified car than it is about this car. But here's the beautiful LS3. It's got a nice intake on it. Those Roto Fs are really good. Catch can, not my job, although it does look like something I installed. Things you're looking for. When you go to a dealership or go to buy something on Facebook, you see an intake or headers like this one has or whatever. You really need to be looking at how they were done, what condition they're in, that kind of thing, if you're still considering buying it, because that's a turnoff to a lot of people. The first thing I saw on this car was actually the Carfax. And what I saw was every oil change was done at a place that listed it to Carfax. Some of them were quick oil change places, which I wasn't real excited about, but for the first several years of its life, it was going to a dealership, which, if anything, dealerships should be able to do an oil change, okay. So, I get in here, I'm looking at this intake, right? Looking at the install. Okay, looks good. Everything looks properly installed. Everything is tight. Nothing is rubbing. Intake's a little dirty, could do with the cleaning, but that means it's been on there for a while. And that's not necessarily a bad thing because they're probably not selling it or trading it in because that caused a problem. Then the catch can, I wasn't real stoked about that, but it's not rubbing on anything. And this wire's pretty tight and thick. I'm not real worried about that at this moment. Then moving back to the headers. This was a big one for me. Looking at the headers, they are really nice. I'm not exactly sure which brand they are, but they are nice. They've been on there a while. This car came from Texas, and Texas boys know their LSs, and they were done well. You know, everything looks good. Whoever put this on, it was probably a professional, and that gave me hope. Of course, then you're looking at the drive belts, all that kind of stuff. Any other like maybe jank stuff going on, checking the oil level, that kind of thing. Then you come over here and you're like, oh, interesting. Coilovers, adjustable dampening coilovers, which is pretty cool. These coilovers click and clack when you drive, and I wasn't real happy about that. I'm looking at it now, and it appears to be spaced a little funky. I'm gonna have to look into that. This should probably be sitting on the actual strut tower, and there's a nut under there preventing that. So I'm not real hype about that. Also, when I actually got the car in the air, once I got it home, the front two coilovers, the springs had no preload. They were wiggling around. So I had to set the preload. Whoever put those on was not my favorite. Nonetheless, coilovers are not a make or break necessarily. Just really check the install on them once you get it, if you choose to do so. Moving to the rest of the car. Obviously, this is a Chevy SS sent to America from the Australian manufacturing plant. And this thing has been rebadged as a Holden, which is pretty cool. I was happy about that because I love Holden. No front plate, but it looks like there was one. Ew. At this point along the front of a car, especially when it's lowered, you're looking underneath. You want to look for bumps and scrapes. I'm not really seeing any other than this little rubber thing. Kind of droopy on this side. Not real worried about it. The bumper looks good. It is not bent, which is cool. Moving around to the side of a modified car, you want to see what the tire sizes are and if they're offset, if they're stretched, if they're worn out, if their date code is still good. Remember, the date code is the last set of numbers on the DOT. Sometimes it's on the inside and you can't see it, but you can usually check any of the tires and figure it out. Remember, it's the last four numbers of this last square here. DOT, numbers we don't care about. More numbers and letters we don't care about. 2721. The 27th week of 2021. These are within a 7-year range. They're still good. Some people just don't drive their cars and the tires will get old, but not be worn down. Still dangerous. Then move into the wheels. Look at the lug nuts. Are they fucked up? Are they tight? Are they loose? when I got these wheels off, the lug nuts were way too tight. Way too tight. So I retorqued them to the proper spec. At this point, you could be peeking in there. There's our coilovers. Lovely little fellas. They're a nice brand. They're Neomax silver coilovers. And I think they go for about $1,200. They're nice. Brembos. This car has Brembos on all 4 corners, which is pretty fucking sweet. I want to check your brake pads, just because if you're buying a car, you need to know that you're gonna have to do brakes if you're gonna have to. And then, these don't have a badge, but you could be looking for the brand of the wheels to know if they're good. I still don't know about these. I should probably figure that out. Okay, at this point, moving into the driver's seat, you should be looking for anything weird. Oh, I see something. This is weird. What is this? That's not necessarily supposed to be there. Shocksims.com, OBDSS. The moment you see anything like that, it could be some sort of tuning device, or it could be something else. In my case, that deletes the MagnaRide sensors on this car. It tells them everything's okay, these coilovers are meant to be there. But I looked it up when I got it because I was like, what is that? Is that where the tune is stored? Is that something else? I don't know. Then obviously check and make sure everything works in the car, because just because it's modified and cool and fast doesn't mean that you shouldn't be worried about the seats working and the heated seats and the cooled seats and the windows and the locks and all that stuff. Check it all, man. Moving on to the back. These taillights, I believe, are slightly tinted. I could be wrong, but I think they might be a little tinted. If you're buying a modified car, a lot of times you will have tinted taillights because people love it when they work less. And you need to make sure that that's not illegal in your state, because you could end up getting pulled over for that, for something that you bought the car with. You still could get an infraction for that. They don't give a fuck who put it on there. You own it. So check that. If it's a no-go, you're gonna have to take that off. And if it's a spray-on, you're gonna have to scrape that off or replace the lights. So be mindful of that. Once again, on this car, rebadged on the back, and this one has a spoiler, which looks fairly well installed. It's color matched, which is cool. It's not loose. If you get a car with a spoiler, make sure that shit's not loose. Something weird that I ran into on this car is the dealership that I bought it from had rotated the tires. And the way that they do that is they move everything in a circle. So this wheel would go there, that wheel would go there, that wheel would go there. If they did that, and the car pulled to the left, and I was like, oh, whatever, you know, I'll get a line, that's fine. Come to find out, when I get it home, I start looking at it, and I'm like, whoa, the front wheel was protruding like 2 inches from the fender, which you can clearly tell it's not anymore, but it was. And I started looking at the tire sizes. They had put one of the thick boys from the back in the front, because the technician, I hesitate to call them that if you fucking rotate tires and don't think, oh, that's sticking out farther than when I fucking took it off. And left this thing looking like it missed leg day, because one of the fucking back tires was, eep. It looked so stupid, and it pulled to the left because there was the wrong wheel and tire there. So I rotated them back, and the alignment problem went away. Whoa. But when you buy a car, especially when it's modified, you should be checking tread depth, making sure it's roughly the same, at least across the front and rear axle. You should be checking the tires, making sure they are all the same brand, all the same type, and the right sizes, or at least matching sizes. Because some people will be cheap, and they blow out one tire doing a burnout, and they leave one bald tire and one kind of used tire, and they're different. Check that stuff. All right, so you usually can't do this while you're at the dealership, but it's something that would be nice to do. Take it to a mechanic to have them lifted or something like that. Get under the car. You should be checking your tie rod ends, especially. These ones are all new. See that shiny silver stuff? The other side has been replaced as well. Lowered cars especially blow through ball joints really fast. This one has one bad ball joint right there. Yep, one bad one. Check your steering rack. This one's okay. Check your coils. These ones are okay now. Then we're looking at our exhaust. This is a big thing here. See what's been done. These are long tube headers, and there's no cats. When you see that, you need to make extra double sure that your state doesn't require you to get emission tested, because with no cats, you are up shit's creek without a paddle, my friend. Luckily, we live in a state where that's not necessary, but a lot of states are. So when you see this, at this point, if you don't have a check engine light, you know that either it was cleared and it runs poorly, or it's tuned. In the case of this car, it is tuned. So, been tuned for the cat delete, been tuned for the big exhaust. This is a true dual, which is actually pretty cool. There's no connection here. big old 3-inch or 2 3/4 inch back to here, where it converts back into the factory outlet. Once you get back here, you're checking the same things: bushings, axle boots, axle seals, coilovers. These ones are okay. Any bushings, any ball joints, brakes, fuel leaks, drive shaft boots. Those are important. If those go, you're gonna have a shitty ride. Differential bushings, those are important. And then on this car here, you can see that it goes into the stock exhaust, because this stock exhaust is actually super cool on these. You see here, we got a little actuator. Little actuator on each of these. Depending on your drive mode, and this is why the previous owner chose to leave the stock mufflers, you can select a drive mode where that pipe is a straight pass-through when this valve is opened. And when it's closed, the whole sound is muffled, and it's like 50 decibels quieter. It's crazy. It's so cool. So yeah, we're just looking at everything. This car looks really good, and the mods have been done really well. So I'm very happy with that, but some cars are not. We are now going to lower this sucker back down. Hold on, I'll do it like a ghost story. We're gonna lower this back down now and let you hear it. It's pretty fucking sweet, bud. I'm gonna start the car. It's not cold. This is not a cold start, but it'll still be kind of cool. This is with the neighborhood mode on, because I don't want to piss off all my neighbors. But we will get a shot of this thing not in neighborhood mode starting up. And I'm not gonna go find a place to like do a poll right now. You guys will see that later on the channel, I'm sure. Yeah, the most important thing when you get a modified car is driving it. Do the mods feel cool? Is the money you're spending on that car that will be less reliable because of the mods worth the fun that they provide? You know, is that exhaust note something you like? Is it too loud? Are you gonna have to change it? Is it not loud enough? Can you hear the intake? Is the intake cool? Does it tickle your fancy? And then, especially with coilovers, listen for clicking. Like I said, this car clicks and clacks. I need to figure out what was done improperly, but I'm comfortable doing that. If you're buying a modified car and you are not comfortable in reinstalling suspension or whatever, if you're hearing clicks and clunks, maybe that's not the car for you. Maybe you want to lower it yourself and know that you're the idiot that made it click and clunk. So yeah, driving it, making sure it drives straight, making sure it doesn't bottom out, making sure the ride quality is okay, especially if you see coilovers that you might think are cheap. That ride quality could be atrocious and you're gonna fucking hate it and it's not worth the money. So you gotta be real careful. Be mindful of your interaction with the owner. If you're buying from a private party, feel it out with them. If they tell you to go full throttle, beat on the car, see what it feels like, A, that means they trust it at full throttle, and B, they give you the go ahead. So if it breaks and you're like, I don't want it, because it literally just broke, that's on them. Maybe you can test the waters, say, hey, I would be more comfortable if I could see what this thing does at full throttle. If they're like, no, I would prefer if you don't beat on it, don't beat on it. And that could turn you off to the car, that's fine. If you think that they're hiding something, okay, don't buy it. But if it's a dealership, fucking beat on it. Absolutely beat on it. Beat the shit out of that car. Make sure that it is worth the amount of extra money you're paying to get it from a dealership. Very cool. Let's go find a parking lot. We'll give you guys a non-neighborhood mode little sound clip here from inside the car. Now I'm gonna go into neighborhood mode. Hear that? It's a crazy difference. It's so cool. I could be ultimate sleeper status or super loud annoying status.
Got my shirt all dirty.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the cool new car. It'll be around for a long time because I'm not allowed to buy another car until my wife says so. So, new car in 40 years, huh? That's all right. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, check us out on Instagram and check out all of our cool stuff in the links in the description. We got passion projects. We got Noah's channel where he does video essays. That shit's pretty cool. Gaming channel. That's pretty cool. And then I think you have an announcement for something that you do.
I pooped.
He
pooped today.
He pooped. It was awesome.
I also live stream on Twitch.
Yeah. He's a live streamer now. He's a live streaming boy. He live streams on TikTok and Twitch. Check him out. Our live streaming boy will have links in the description now, along with his YouTube channel. You should check him out. Lots of, what is it, Zelda, Nintendo content right now?
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah.
Mostly Zelda, Mario, Nintendo stuff.
Yeah, but you do other stuff too.
Yeah, every now and again I'll do one-off streams where I just play a random odd game.
Yeah, it's cool. He's a good streamer. He's got a decent audience. It's a good community to be around. It's fun. Next, probably the Celica.
Thanks.